I want to give you the law of success for business lawyers. If you're a business lawyer, you know already that you've got a lot of competition, not only from corporate lawyers, in-house lawyers, but also from, let's say, outside counsel, right? So, into this conversation, I want to share with you the most important thing you need to know if you want to be a successful and very scalable business lawyer. Okay, the first thing is, let me first define for you, and I'm pretty sure that you know already, but for contextual clarification, what a business lawyer really is. So, a business law professional is actually an attorney specializing in representing businesses in legal matters, in all legal matters. Okay, so a business lawyer actually can help a company prepare and file incorporation documents, for instance, write partnership agreements, draft contracts, negotiate contracts, sometimes advising on corporate governance issues, and provide any other services related to the legal needs of running a business. So you have a business, and anything that relates to the legal aspects, the legal ramifications of running a business, you as a business lawyer should be able to help out here. Okay, so this is really important to really pay attention to. So as a business lawyer, you work closely with accountants, with financial advisors, with estate planners, with operational advisors to make sure that companies stay within the bounds of the law. That's what you want. You want basically to have this sort of regulatory compliance mindset, okay? And you may even help a company set up its internal policies and procedures for managing day-to-day operations. It really depends on the type of needs that the company has, okay? And the cool thing is that you are able to like you can have business law in various niches, what I call niches, like corporate law, securities law, mergers and acquisition, M&A, intellectual property law, employment law, banking law, tax law, real estate law, insurance law, and commercial litigation, arbitration, mediation, or any combination thereof. So what I'm trying to say here is that you have a pretty vast field conceptually to think about. So if you are a business lawyer, you got to have clear knowledge of the law. That's really the first thing. And the law changes all the time, okay? So the law, the business, the legal ramifications of running a business, those ramifications, those laws, those edicts, those regulations, they change all the time. So you have to update your knowledge. You have to stay abreast of everything that happens in your niche, okay? Either by doing research or by having by actually signing up with a research service. This is important. So besides the knowledge of the law, the fundamental knowledge of the law, you got to also beef up your legal research skills. So that's the second law of success for business lawyers. The first one is knowledge of the law, like fundamental knowledge of the law. Now we are speaking about legal research skills. So that's the second law of success. The thing is that you're going to have matters that require you to do some research, and if you can actually, let's say, beef up your legal research skills, that can help you big time. Okay, because the thing is that you will need to sometimes research complicated topics such as bankruptcy, contract interpretation, and trademark infringements. And those concepts, those activities require some kind of deep and broad knowledge of the law, but also research skills. Okay, so you need to have a dedicated legal team that actually does this like 24/7, not 24/7, but does this on a full-time basis. And so what happens here is that when I say legal research skills, I'm not just talking about going on the internet and going on Google and type in some kind of concept and see the result. No, it means that you have to read academic journals, read but also understand, right? You got to know how to use databases like Westlaw, for instance. You got to really need to you got to develop expertise in finding relevant information online, because see, the World Wide Web is a great ocean of knowledge, right? But you want to have the relevant knowledge, the relevant information, so that you can really like pinpoint what you're really looking for. The whole idea here is what? The whole idea is to understand complex concepts and articulate them to clients in a very easy to understand way. So that's number two. Number three, the third law of success for business lawyers has to be around business awareness. What I mean by that is that you're still running a business. Your practice is a business, but you're talking to other businesses. This is a B2B conversation. So you got to be aware of the business trends. You got to know what's happening in the economy. You got to know what's happening in your particular market. Okay, if you're working, let's say, on an M&A deal, for instance, you got to really anticipate the ramifications of that M&A deal. The fourth law of success for business lawyers has to be around legal and business ethics. I don't care how successful you are. I don't care how great you think you are as a business lawyer. If you have no legal and business ethics, or at least if you downgrade it in your practice, sooner or later it will catch up to you. Okay, you'll have some problems, you have some reputational issues, blah blah blah. So the point is that you do not want to go there. You want to make sure that you actually solidify your legal and business ethics. I would say compliance portal, if you will. Okay, you got to really adhere to an ethical code. Many states, as a matter of fact, require attorneys to follow certain professional rules. Okay, let me give you an example. Some states, for instance, require attorneys to avoid conflict of interest. So if you are a business lawyer, you want to avoid conflict of interest, and not just in appearance, but also in reality. Those conflicts, whether they seem to be conflicts or they're a real conflict, you have to really prohibit yourself from those conflicts. And those rules may also prohibit you as a business lawyer from representing multiple parties in the same case, right? If you think about it, business ethics, we all need business ethics. Those are the moral principles that govern business conduct, and we need that, okay? It involves examining how businesses should behave to promote their interests while maintaining ethical standards, okay? So this is important. So when practicing law, a business lawyer should always act ethically by maintaining good relations with the stakeholders involved in their clients' businesses. This includes employees, shareholders, creditors, regulators, and other third-party groups. So this is something to really think about. And also, one thing I want to say here is that this is another law of success. You have to understand clientele. You should understand your clients thoroughly. You need to recognize the differences when dealing with small business owners versus large corporations. Those are two different markets. So you got to be familiar with the types of business contracts that different companies employ, identify the needs of each company, know how to interpret financial statements, and understand compliance requirements, okay? So if you have all this, you will be in a position where you can actually, You can actually serve your clients better. And also, you got to be able to tell the difference between a real problem and one that's not worth worrying about. Sometimes you might be thinking this is a big problem, but when in reality, it's not. Another law of success for business lawyers revolves around negotiation. So your negotiation skills should be should be expanded big time, okay? I mean, if you want to be an effective business lawyer, you gotta have your good negotiation skills, because negotiations are inevitable in any legal case, but especially in business law cases, okay? So you will need to negotiate a broad range of things from, let's say, employment contracts and shareholder agreements to sale agreements and operating agreements. So if you want to become a skilled negotiator, you need to listen carefully. I mean, I always insist on that. You got to really listen carefully. Why? Because your interlocutor is probably telling you already what they want, and it's giving you the keys. It's giving you the keys already of solving the case, okay? You got to control your emotion. Bottom line is, you want to remain calm under pressure. I don't care how complicated you think the negotiation is. You got to learn how to control your emotions, okay? You want to give the opposing side some time so that you can figure them out what they want, okay? And also, always think about win-win agreements. Think about coming to mutually beneficial, mutually agreeable terms. Another law of success for business lawyers has to be around your education. One, make sure you have a good legal education. Okay. I mean, while all lawyers need a basic knowledge of the law, not every attorney has a well-rounded legal education. When I say a legal education, I'm not speaking about the university where you got your JD. No, it goes way beyond that. It means what? It means that if you don't have the right education, you might struggle to apply your knowledge effectively. If you think that having the JD and having some kind of CLE every now and then, or CPE, continuing professional education every now and then, is going to help you out, no. So what I'm trying to say here is that you want to really get interested in those topics that can help your practice actually deliver a better service protocol to your clients. Another law of success for business lawyers is actually patience. I mean, patience is going to help you big time, okay? Because I think I said to you a little earlier to control your emotion. So patience is kind of correlated to this other law of success, because you have to understand we are humans. Humans are unpredictable. You're going to deal, I mean, of course, you are a business lawyer, but you are still talking to individuals. You're still talking to people working for those companies that you represent. And people, by definition, are unpredictable. They can say things that they later regret. Sometimes they will do things to make their cases or situations more difficult. Okay? So, what you want to do here is that as a good business lawyer, you need to have patience. You need to listen. You got to remain calm and collected under pressure. Always control your emotions. Always control your train of thoughts. Okay? So you should never lose your temper and cause a strain on the attorney-client relationship. What you want to do is you want to focus on the results. You want to focus on the end goal. You want to focus on getting the job done. That's what you really should be caring about, okay? And also professionalism. That's the last law of success as a business attorney. So when working as a business lawyer, it's very easy to get caught up in the excitement of winning a case. Think about it, right? You're happy, you're really gung ho about everything, the way it happened. But if you think about it, it's not really the time to show off, because as a business lawyer, you gotta always act professionally and respectfully. Respectfully in the sense that you want to respect the opposing party. You want to understand that a good win is a mutually beneficial win. A good win is not a win when your side is winning and the other side is losing. A good win is actually a win that is a long-term win, okay? So you got to act professionally and respectfully, because your reputation, think about it, depends on it. When a business lawyer behaves actually professionally, actually he or she gains respect from other lawyers and professionals. As a result, you may be able to win more cases and have more success at contract negotiation. So think about that. So those are the top, let's say the top 10 laws of success for business lawyers. And one thing I want to say here is that you got to understand that there are different types of business law, because business law is a pretty vast, pretty comprehensive field. And there are different types, there are different categories, there are different clusters when it comes to business law. And so basically, business law in general applies to a wide range of legal areas and also many types of business activities, because the legal issues that you're going to face as a business lawyer may involve corporate law, partnership law, banking law, sales law, securities law, or some combination of the above, okay? So as a business lawyer, you are going to play a very important role at the point where the business and legal worlds intersect. So, and this is where you add value. You add value and you perform a valuable service for the clients. And see, the thing is, the clients' needs are changing based on the economy, based on their own needs, their own operational needs, based on the needs of the opposing party. And so you have a sector that's shifting all the time, okay? So this is an important element to understand. So as a business lawyer, what you want to do is that because the law is so vast, because business law is so vast and so, I would say, so vast and so wide, you got to know how to anticipate. You got to know how to anticipate problems that may arise for your clients down the road and work accordingly to help avoid such problems. It's all about anticipation. It's all about being proactive. It's all about having a vision. It's all about having experience in the type of cases that you are actually, that you're litigating or you're negotiating, if you will. So if you want to avoid problems for your clients, you can do a couple of things. Okay, let me give you an example. If you represent a bank in a lending transaction, you must draft the necessary documents, such as the loan agreements, promissory notes, and security agreements, with an eye toward protecting the bank and ensuring that the borrower is obligated to pay the loan back in the manner requested by the bank. You must also anticipate the scenario where the borrower defaults on the loan and must provide remedies for the lender if that scenario arises. It's all about really getting your clients back, okay? And in contrast, if you represent a company engaged in an IPO like Facebook's, you must ensure that the necessary documents are filed with the appropriate governmental authorities, such as the SEC, and that the documents contain all the info and disclosures required by law. So the bottom line here is that if you are thinking about the fundamental law of success for business lawyers, you have to understand that there is a combination of things you need to pay attention to. And those things are not static. Those things are not stuff like, this is not stuff that you do once, like one month or 6 months and then forget about it. It has to be constant. It has to be, I would say, embedded in the DNA of your firm, of your practice. And you have to practice it. You have to cultivate that sort of skill set, not just you, but your staff too. Okay. And it has to be a practice-wide sort of routine. So becoming a successful business lawyer requires a lot of work, a lot of hard work, but it's not impossible. Okay, it's not impossible. You have the possibilities to get things done, but you just have to be you have to put yourself in a discipline, in a certain model, like what I call operational model, that can really make sure that you are disciplined enough. It's all about consistency. It's all about having the right strategy and keep doing over and over and over, like the same strategy. So if a strategy works for you, if a strategy works for you, you should be able to have, you should be able to continue the same strategy over and over and over. And what I want to say here is that it's all about constantly changing what's working for you and what's not working for you, right? At the end of the day, you got to really pay attention to how the markets reacts, how your clients react, how the opposing party reacts, and adapt your strategy to their needs. That's going to help you succeed as a business lawyer. So as a recap into this conversation, I'll give you the law of success for business lawyers. I explain what a business law professional does, the things that constitute the law of success for business lawyers, and the bottom line. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.